That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, God, it's a toad, son. It's a toad, dude.
Yeah. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day.
What's going on, folks?
Look at Pete's face.
Most of us are in studio today. Pete's dialing in. Trey sitting in here. Myself. We got Javon from the Real Bass Pursuit, also the new media director for OneCast Fishing. So we're bringing him today to be our guest. A lot of, we'll talk about his story a little bit, talk about a little news in the fishing industry. So it's going to be a great episode, so stay tuned. But before we get to it, Trey's going to go through all our sponsors here because he's so good at it.
That's right. With this radio talk show host voice. While you're here. No, I'm just kidding. Head on over to OneCastFishing.com. Use that code, TheOneCast, all one word at checkout. Get your hands on all those weedless Neds, snagless jigs, long neck hooks, soft plastics, and everything else that OneCast Fishing has to offer. Make sure you get those Ned rigs, though. They're playing a clutch role right now up in smallmouth territory. We're going to talk about that later. Also, while you're online, use that link we provide you to head on over to Hobie Eyewear. You're going to save 15% when you check out using that link. Get your hands on all the different frames and lenses they have to offer. We love the floating frames, especially the Mojo Float 2.0s. They got an anti-fog vent that's in the top of them. Love that feature. Nothing worse than sunglasses fogging up on you, but never lose another pair of sunglasses with those floating frames. Before your next fishing trip, download that Deep Dive app on your App Store, Play Store. Check out all the different features that Deep Dive has to offer. They got all the inflows, outflows, weather conditions. If it's a lake that is a flood control reservoir, it's going to tell you how many cubic feet per second that they're pulling of water. They got different geodata that's really going to help you guys map that out. I use my phone all the time in the boat as I'm going down the water targeting different species of fish. They got largemouth, smallmouth, and spotted bass features on there, bait tool selections, and tournament winning patterns. If you're moving to Central North Carolina, you're going to need a good real estate agent to get you in the home of your dreams, and that's no other than Mr. Terry Carpenter himself. We call him Uncle Terry for a reason because he's going to take care of you. He's a bass fisherman. He's going to get that boat in the garage just like he did for Pete and his lovely wife. You can reach him at carpentert@hpw.com with Howard Perry Walson and Caldwell Banker. And then finally, our boys out of Indianapolis, Indiana, WAYMIRE. The WAYMIRE group, they got everything boat trailer related, any parts that you absolutely need, whether or not you're at the house or you're on the road touring. WAYMIRE's got you covered. All you got to do is give them a holler at 1-800-434-4824. They're going to answer the phone. You tell them exactly what you need. They're going to get it right to your doorstep. Boom. Done.
Great job.
Killed it. And on today's news, no, it's kidding.
Well, there's a lot of news going on right now.
There definitely is.
In the industry. We won't get too much into it right now. You just wrapped up the Bassmaster Open. I figured we'd save that to Fishing Friday, which means if you guys are listening, you've already heard it. But Trey, I think, put together a phenomenal bag the first day with 18 pounds of smallmouth, but it wasn't even close.
You would have thought. That had you in about 130th place after day one.
Which is just ridiculous. So, Lake Erie showed out for the Bassmaster Open. They wrapped up a Champlain. Smith won, right?
Brian Schmidt.
Schmidt, yeah.
Yep.
Brian Schmidt won. And so they're starting by the time you guys hear this, but they'll be wrapped up. Bassmaster will be at the St. Lawrence. We'll know who the AOY is. Right now it's a 3-man race between Drew Cook, Trey McKinney, Corey Johnston. They're all separated by 1 point apiece. It's anyone's game.
And it's a forward-facing sonar
event. It is a forward-facing sonar event on the St. Lawrence River. So you know what? Let's just go around the room. Who's going to win AOY? Out of those three, who's going to do it?
Trey McKinney.
Trey McKinney, you're going with Trey?
Yeah.
Why? Okay, for the audience, why are you going with Trey instead of just because you said? Or
yeah, I mean, because I'm the best there is.
Many levels.
I wake up in the morning and I piss excellent.
He's a 2-time runner-up.
I mean, he's a 2-time runner. Yeah, 2 years in the elites, 2 years runner-up. I think he's hungry for it. Not that the other guys are, but he's got something to prove that he can close the deal. So. We all know, Trey can catch him, has been for a long time. And I think he's going to go out there and seal the deal. He spent a lot of time learning smallmouth, so he's more comfortable than he was. I feel like it's just going to be his year.
Okay. What do you got, Javon?
I'll be honest with you. I don't know if it's going to make me less of an angler, but I don't really follow the tournament as much. It's one of those things that between content creation, work, and family, I barely even have time to watch TV or keep up with the stats. So I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I'm gonna give you an answer and be like, because this is why. But I'm all for it. I mean,
you know what? Most anglers are like you. Most anglers
it's hard. It's hard.
Care about these guys.
Don't get me wrong. I'll sit there. I'll watch it. But I can't. It's like any sport. I can't sit there and follow stats. I stopped at a long time.
Me too. I think the only reason we know so much about it is because we talk so much about it.
Right.
I think everybody in this room is like you. Like, we'd rather be fishing than watch fishing. And to be brutally honest with you, a lot of us, like, there's certain formats, and got to give Major League Fishing the credit that they deserve. Their format is probably, in my opinion, is one of the most interesting formats to watch from a television perspective. But yeah, a lot of us, we don't sit around and watch.
I mean, I don't watch fishing. Like,
watch the replays, and
I'll watch the highlights, the replays. I'll go on Bass Track throughout the day and just see how people are going. But like, yeah, I'll watch more like the first couple events because it's the new season. We've been started for fishing for so long.
Yeah.
But after about the first two, after the classic, well,
it kind of dies off.
It kind of dies off.
Yeah.
So who you got, Trey?
So, I mean, I'll be different on this one. And I think this is a double-edged sword, but I really think like Corey has
you got to root for America. It's not 250. You can't go for the 51st state.
Oh man. So, I mean, I think Drew might be a sleeper in this situation, and he's done really good in the MPFL events up north too with no forward-facing sonar. So he's definitely a contender. I think the amount of pressure it's either going to be a really, really good thing or a really, really bad thing for Corey Johnston. The thing he has going for him up there is obviously his life experience, and then the fact that him and his brother work so strong as a team, and Chris will give Corey every bit of juice spot when it comes to fishing the St. Lawrence River. He will stay off from it. You heard him say it. If you listen to Mercer's podcast, he brought him on, weeks ago and had that conversation. I think Corey's a really strong contender. And he's I think Trey, I don't know, man. I'm going to go with Corey on this one just because he wants it so bad. But again, this could absolutely burn him too.
I'm going to go with Drew just to keep it interesting. But more importantly, I think Corey's got pressure. It's kind of his home water is so good. I think he's favored probably up there.
He is.
Of course, Trey has got a huge favorite, 2-time runner up. He's got to get that monkey off the back, so to speak. Right. There's obviously some blood between the Johnstons and McKinney. I don't think there's bad blood or anything, but like there's been some interaction.
There may be some defense played, and that's the one thing I
was going to say to that, Corey just posted a picture of him and Trey McKinney in a vehicle together, like last night going to dinner. So I don't think there's any blood there you got to worry about.
No, I said there wasn't bad blood, but like just competitive enough. Because today on a podcast with Zona and Tommy Sanders, he was talking about Corey told him, I was talking to Trey at the last tournament, and he was like, yeah, I was catching him on this little bait, and Corey told Zona like, I don't know why he was telling me that. I'm the last person he needs to be telling me that about smallmouth, So I'm gonna go with Drew just because like there's no pressure. Like no one thinks Drew's gonna do it. Like it's just like he's just gonna sneak in there.
Yeah, I think publicly, from a fan perspective, Trey McKinney has a lot of pressure on him, like publicly, and I think Corey has a lot of public pressure on him. I think Drew is like kind of like he's putting a lot of pressure on himself, but he's not getting as much publicity, and it's funny, right? Like, Pete, I saw the reel that we made years and years ago. Like, none of us really even knew who Drew Cook was, right? Like, we just didn't. Like, it's somebody that like Pete
was he the one who smarted off about the?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, about the whole Orkin commercial thing.
Yeah.
But now look at him, right? Like, it's not like he's not a great angler. Clearly he is. He's one of the best sight fishermen in the game.
I still couldn't pick him up out of the lineup.
Well, it's true. And like what's funny about all that is, and it's still going back, right? Because he was griping about Milliken got that commercial, and he's not a pro angler because he's only an open angler. But like Drew only made the elites because that year they took 20 people because everyone left.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like he was like 15th,
and he was part of the split.
He was part of the split, and he was like 15th or like something like that in the opens, and like he would have never made it if it wasn't because everyone left to go to MOF. But that just goes to show, like there are some great, phenomenal anglers at, not the Bassmaster Elites or the BPT level, like the step below that are great, phenomenal. And if they ever got their chance, that they could dominate.
I'm telling you right now, dude, like if they took like the opens field is, I think they're some of the best anglers in the entire world, like no doubt. And I think that's kind of the case when you go like to the pro circuit on the MLF side and even the Toyota series, right? But there's only so many spots. There's only so many spots. And like, just because you came in 15th and look at Laker Howell, man, like he made the EQs. He's been hunting for the elites for years. He is a phenomenal angler. And so are all of them. Right. And even if you come in, I'm not dead last, but I'm pretty close to it. Like, I don't put myself in that category, but I'm telling you, at least 100 of those anglers in the opens are some of the best in the world. So I'd put them up against the Elite Series guys any day of the week, but there's only 9 spots available. So unless Bass makes a decision to make more than that. But yeah, I think it's going to be a really close race, especially with it being forward-facing sonar. The thing I say about the defense side is like, I wouldn't put it past the Johnston brothers to run D against like Trey McKinney and Drew Cook. And what I mean by that is if Corey...
Well, they ran against what's his name last year?
Rob G.
Rob G.
Rob
last
G.
year.
If Corey knows that McKinney's on some of the juice holes and Chris gets a good boat draw, and this is all speculation, but dude, like I wouldn't put it past Chris to go jump on one of those spots before McKinney gets there. Like, why wouldn't he, right? It's not illegal. It's not impeding another angler.
But they did add a rule to the rule book that has made it a lot tougher this year and could be used against them if they do that.
Yeah.
What's the rule?
Essentially, if he were to protest and say that he knew he was fishing there and he didn't see him in practice, he could protest and say he was doing it for his brother. They could DQ both brothers for it now.
Yeah, that is a tough one, right?
And what's Bassmaster rule? 50 feet from the boat, I think.
Yeah, it's 50 feet.
I think it's 50
unless,
feet. Yeah,
unless
Well,
you're invited in.
Just move on in there.
Slide on in.
Slide in within 50 feet.
I don't think they'll do anything like that.
2 boat links.
Yeah, it really is going to come down to who's going to catch them, and it's going to be a game of ounces, and that's why the St. Lawrence, like, if Chris can or Corey can find 5+ pound smallies, and he can get a couple pound lead over a 3-day period, then he has a really good shot. But he's got what's he got to beat Trey by, Pete, for the best.
I have to look.
I'm bringing it up right now. Why bringing up the AOY rankings?
Essentially, if Trey can make the top 10, they won't be able to pass him.
Right.
Well, that's not. No,
Yeah,
that's
it is.
they're all within 1 point.
But even with 1 point, if he can make top 10, he still can lock it in because of the way the overall points are.
Oh,
Bass math doesn't make any sense. Don't even attempt to figure it out.
Well, it's a point. Basically, it's a point for your place. So, if you finish in 100,
but you also get bonus. You also get bonus points for making cuts and stuff. Like Bass's math is not just straight 1 through 101 is this number of points. Like they do weird stuff daily.
I just
all kinds of different stuff.
Just making the top 10 is not going to matter because Drew Cook's 1 point behind, and Corey's 2 behind. So like theoretically,
if Trey makes top 10, he'll win AOY.
I mean, if Drew wins it and Trey's in second, I think they're going to tie. They'll tie. Co-AOIs, right? Because you have to.
It's not. I would go to Trey.
So how does that work?
Drew to win will have to beat
overall
Trey by at least 2 points, 2 places, and Corey's going to have to beat Trey by at least 3 spots.
Yep.
Because otherwise, if it's 2, they're going to tie. And they'll be, and they've had, I think, co-AOIs.
I've never seen it.
They eliminated the co-AOI 30 years ago.
What do they do now for a tiebreaker?
It goes by total weight, and then if that's
Total
a tie,
weight,
it
that's
goes
right.
by biggest fish, and if that's a tie,
So that I don't know about if they tie, but the tiebreakers. But I mean, theoretically, you could have 1, 2, 3, and like,
yeah,
in the tournament, and Corey could be first, and then the problem is if Drew is second, then they tie, and then Trey ties in third, and you can have a 3-way tie.
Yeah.
So who knows how it's going to go down?
I don't know, man.
But it's super close, which will be super interesting. I assuming because it's so close to 3 guys, assuming those 3 guys will make the cut, regardless on day 3. I don't think it's one of those things we're going to see it wrapped up in the first 2 days.
Yeah.
I think it's going to go down on the wire. It will go down at least Saturday and probably Sunday.
Well, they don't score every day, so yeah. I mean, unless 2 don't make the top, the day 3 cut.
And I'll tell you this, another big factor that's going on up there right now, and this really started on Sunday, is there was a lot of weather that moved in. So I don't know what the weather's looking like up there. This could be a 3-day shootout. I don't know if Bass will extend it because it's the last event of the year and stuff. But weather plays a huge factor. And I know, watching the guys' reels on social media and stuff, like they were having like 6, 7, 8 footers out there on the St. Lawrence River, like trying to traverse like that type of water situation. Like nobody does it better probably than the Johnston brothers. If you remember talking to our friend Matty Wong a couple years ago, like he was out there in some of the biggest swells he's ever seen before, like 8-foot waves, and they didn't cancel the tournament then. So I don't know if they'll cancel anything, but weather is going to be a huge factor.
They won't, and I don't think unless they just can't get on to the lake, it's not going to have an impact.
Yeah.
They're not going to have any issues.
Looking
at the weather right now, 13 tomorrow, 5 Friday, 9 Saturday, 10 Sunday, no rain.
They're going to be fine.
Yeah.
Mostly
so those guys are going to be
day.
going to the lake, no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
Those guys are going to the lake, no doubt. Unless they find a magical spot in that river, which if you guys remember, that river's been beat up pretty hard this year.
You're against those guys. If you're not on the lake, you ain't winning.
That's right.
You're not catching a century belt out of the river. You're just not.
Yep.
How many century belts?
4.
Yeah,
I think there'll be 4 century belts.
4
or 5. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I'd say half the top 10, maybe.
I don't think it's going to be. I mean, that weather is looking nice. What was it? 2 or 3 years ago, they had 10.
Yeah.
But they had like perfect slick, calm weather the whole time.
And they caught. I mean, everyone was they were bringing 5 for over 5 in every single day. Yeah. Like they were busting them. So it's very possible. And that water hasn't been. I mean, this week, leading up to this has been kind of unpressured. Because the weather has been so bad. So I think that's a good thing for them. So those fish have been able for the last 4 or 5 days to reset into their patterns and stuff. And a lot of the other tours have been going to other areas in the Great Lake region. So it's not that they don't get a lot of local pressure up there, but I think the river gets the most local pressure up there in the St. Lawrence. And then that lake is really where the more experienced anglers go. So them not being able to go out on that main lake for, 3 to 4 days, that's a good thing for those guys. So if they got the weather, it's going to be a smash fest, dude. Especially with forward facing sonar, it's going to be a smash.
100%.
Last time they were there was two century belts. Corey won, Trey was 3rd, which still gives Trey AOY. So
it was either 2 or 3 years ago. They had like 10 there. I think that's the one Patrick won, maybe.
Yeah, I mean they're there. They got them, dude.
They got them.
Yep.
But we'll find out. We're talking about all this, but you guys would know. You guys already know the results. So
no, this drops.
We're sorry about the speculation.
Tournament.
What'd you say, Pete?
It drops on day 1 of the tournament, so they'll.
Yeah.
Oh,
they had
dropping.
They had 4 century belts last time they were there.
Did they have 4? Yeah. I think they'll have 4 again. 4 or 5.
P-Walt 1, and then they had 4. So,
yep.
But then you had Kyle Welcher had 99-12, so he got about as close as he could.
He probably had a dead. I hope he didn't have a dead fish, because that would really suck, dude. That's quarter. That's a what? Quarter? No, half pound. Quarter
ounce. I think. Quarter pound for 4 ounces. Yeah.
Dude, I was watching a video. Yeah. I didn't know this happened to Jacob Fouts. If you guys remember, he won in his first Elite Series event this year. When they were fishing on, where were they at, man? Somewhere, I think it was Champlain. He was 9 minutes late on the first day to weigh in, and it was a pound per minute. He took a 9-pound penalty. I had no idea. Yeah. Those are the things that you don't usually see unless like the guys post on their socials. A lot of guys won't post it because they're like, oh man, I effed up. But stuff like that's a factor too, man. Like somebody, Corey Drew or Trey, they're late. They got dead fish. There's all sorts of like variables. But you guys will hear the results, and we'll see who wins AOY. We all got 3 different picks for AOY. So
do they have to go through the lock?
No, I don't think there's a lock to go through to get out onto the main lake.
Where was NPFL out this year with a lock?
So they put in at Messina. I believe, and they had to run down, but they had to go through a commercial lock. They couldn't go through the regular lock because it was closed.
So that's farther up the river
there's
north.
no lock out of Clayton.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good deal.
All right. Well,
let's go ahead and transition here.
yeah.
We'll bring
Javon
Javon in. And when I say bring him in, he's sitting in studio with us. So I met Javon back in January at the Raleigh Fishing Expo. Rick, and those who have followed their show for a long time.
Passing through.
Probably remember that episode talking about chupacabras and down in South Florida. And but Rick introduced me to Javon here, and we got to talking. And Javon runs the Real Bass Pursuit social media page, Instagram, Facebook, and all. Does great job making content. Great job editing.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Loves bass fishing. He's a veteran too. And I hooked him with a bunch of OneCast fishing products back in January a couple times, and he was making some good products. And this is a lesson for all those in the industry. Like you go out there and do work, you support people, like people will support you back. And so back at the beginning of the month, I brought Javon on as to be the director of media for OneCast Fishing. So that's why if you see Javon's pretty face on OneCast Fishing's Instagram, you see all those nice edits up there because it gotten stale. I'd have been doing a lot for about 18 months or so. That's all Javon's work. So glad to have him aboard, but glad to have him here on the podcast today to talk about his story, where he's from, and how he got into bass fishing, because it's pretty awesome. So welcome, Javon.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Honestly, wasn't anticipating to be here right now in this environment now, part of a well organized team, but honestly, like I said, it was
what
never
team
my
is that?
intentions. What you mean? What team
What-
is
no,
this,
what
man?
team-
I'm sitting around legends here. Come on, man. So
He said, well organized. That's crazy.
no, dude. Honestly, listen. I can say this as a content creator, and I mean, I don't have a massive following, but I do see a lot of the stuff that happens on the trying to get the sponsorships and trying to connect with other businesses. It becomes funky. Not to mention any brands, but again, there's certain brands that have left stale taste in my mouth where it's either a rod or a bait making company, and you come to find out that you're doing so much work for this company and they're not taking care of their customers. Come to find out orders are not being processed, money's being taken. So, you get to see how the real ugly in people. And honestly, meeting Ben that day out there at the Saltwater and Bass Fishing Expo, one, the quality of the jigs, amazing. The flipping jig, phenomenal. So seeing that attached with the EWG hook, and then his personality, he accepted me so easily. It was one of those things where it just felt right. It felt right, So I'm glad. Like I said, I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad I'm at where I'm at with you guys, and I'm happy for the opportunity you've given me.
Yeah.
Honestly, thank you guys.
What's your welcome aboard first and foremost, man, because the fishing community is a culture.
It is.
There's a lot of subculture within the fishing community. And that's our motto here, right, man, is, creating cultures of anglers, helping anglers one cast at a time. But what got you interested in fishing or bass fishing in general?
So, I was born and raised in the city in New York. So there was no fishing involved for me. I had none of that. I didn't do any of it. It was
You didn't go down the Hudson River?
No, man. I had more stories about
38 special out of there.
Yeah, that's what I was always told. You go out fishing out there, you're gonna catch a dead body. It's a given.
Jimmy Hoffa's.
So I joined the military, became a parachute rigger. It was one of the things that got me out of New York. I wanted to get out of there. And had a buddy of mine out in Jersey, got into fishing. We went out camping with the family. He asked me, I had a fishing rod. I didn't have one. So I shot to Walmart, picked up an ugly stick, came back, started fishing, fell in love. That same day, I went ahead and bought a regular rinky-dink kayak from Walmart, brought it back, took it out in the water, and it was solidified at that point. I was like, yeah, this is something I'm going to do. And it starts like that. You do a couple of catches, you throw it out there, see how people respond to your catch. And like I said, that's where you realize the community is so well bonded.
Right.
You got people who they genuinely do care about what you do and how you're performing out there. There's people who just don't care, and they'll make it known. Yeah. But it got to a point where I was looking at that, and I'm like, you know what? Everybody's posting things, and I have questions that I want to learn about bass fishing that I genuinely can't find. So I'm going to start doing my own research and making my own videos. And my wife, wonderful woman, she sat there and she was like, well, why don't you start doing content? And she ended up getting me a GoPro. And the first video I posted was a simple catch on a swim jig, and I had the GoPro do my editing for me. And it wasn't a mass success, but it was something that, you know, it came from me. So I was really happy. I posted it out there, and the likes came in. I had people asking me questions, and that's where it kind of started driving off. And, you know, it got a little bit more serious. The wife is like, you know, if you're doing this, you need a name. What you're going to do? Stood there with a book, just pages loaded of different names. I felt like you ever seen the Spider-Man movie, him drawing all the suits? Me with all the names. And I finally stuck with the Real Bass Pursuit. And honestly, it's been something that each day something happens, I'm unprepared for it. I'm like I said, I started it off as just posting content, and now it's becoming something where I'm connecting with bigger companies, better people. I'm trying to get to a point now where I can give back instead of just receive, you know? So, and the end goal is eventually, hopefully, this has been a conversation I've been having, is that I do want to start a nonprofit organization somewhere down the line where I can help kids who can't afford fishing. You know, growing up in New York, there's a lot of people who they genuinely can't afford a fishing rod. They don't know how to fish. They don't know how to tie a knot. They don't know the difference between a lure and a live bait. It's different things. And if I can get a group of kids to come onto a summer camp, and I can teach them the basics of fishing, and maybe get into some of the hunting side, bring people into that, maybe campfires and stuff like that, just the outdoors to it, that's my end goal. And that's something that if I can give that back, I'm happy. I'm happy.
I mean, dude, you hear that a lot from inner city kids. You know, you're inner city?
Yeah, inner city.
Like, what part of New York?
I was born in Harlem. And
Are you really?
Yeah, and then I lived out in the Bronx when I was 14. I lived out there till I was about 18, 19, then left to the military.
Yeah, I told him that story of me walking through Harlem at midnight when I was like 20 in college. He's like, "What are you doing there?" I was like, "We did not mean to end up there."
I just heard it when he said there. I got the New York accent for the first time.
Yeah, I came from there. You know,
it came out a little bit. No, I think that whole 501c3 for the kids that can't afford it, man. I'd love to talk more about that with you offline, because it's something my wife and I have talked about for a long time. So
yeah, it's a great thing. You know, it's one of those things where people come in and let's be real. I mean, no anglers making millions of dollars. It's not happening. No content creators doing it. And if you land some good sponsors, congratulations, that's good for you. But you know, there's more to give out than to receive from these companies. These companies, they got free advertisement. Every content creator is doing advertisement. That's one of the reasons why I feel like it's very hard for even certain anglers to get a solidified sponsorship, because you have people who are just promoting the product for free. Right. You catch, you promote the product, and that's free sponsorship. And a lot of these guys can edit. They know how to edit a video. They know how to edit a picture. They know how to edit a catch. So if I can receive that and give that same I guess, what do you call it? Reciprocate it back to the community, then I'm happy with that. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, there's for the past years, I don't even know how long, but a lot of professional, I call them top level competitors, because professional angler is, it's not synonymous with like bass fishermen, right? So top level competitors, whether or not it's in the Bassmaster side, Major League Fishing, and so on and so forth, there's been a lot of like animosity. It's almost like Uber drivers versus taxi cab drivers, right? Like monopolizing the industry. And I always tell top level competitors, like, you still have a market, right? Like, you still have a market. There's a lot of non-internet interested parties in what you have to do. I can't tell you how many people I talk to at these events and stuff like that, but social media content creators really have dominated the reach that they have, right?
And they still have a market, because like if you're doing a video and you're a Bassmaster elite angler, or even an open angler who's won an event or has done really well, like that's a lot of cachet, because you've competed and done well at the highest level. But at the same time, they're not worth as much as they used to be.
No, they're not.
Because social media is just, and this goes back to about 10 years ago with the whole Guggen Squad folks, when they wanted to work with people to make their own baits, and no one would work with them, and they said, screw it, we'll just go do it ourselves. Yeah. And they completely changed the industry. Whether you like it or not, that's a simple fact. And it's just like, companies can get a whole lot more out of people who just fish, who like to edit, who enjoying the content, than it is guys who are out there on the tournament scene, where they're focused on fishing, catching fish, because that is their living.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's a different perspective than working for a company and getting content and different things. So both are advantageous. Both have their benefits for sponsors and businesses and all. But it's definitely changed the dynamics.
Oh yeah. So coming from New York, you got into bass fishing. And Matt Robertson didn't even sell you that ugly stick. You just went and bought one.
Yeah, that was it.
So then you joined the Army, and did you settle down here in North Carolina?
I
after?
did, yeah. So I got out here, Fort Bragg. Everybody always says you either end up in Fort Bragg, you finish off Fort Bragg, or you start in Fort Bragg. But somehow,
especially as a parachute rigger.
Parachute rigger, you're gonna end up in Fort Bragg or Fort Benning. So I ended up coming out the military, and at that time we were still living in near base, not too far from base. And the wife and I decided, let's actually settle down and actually get a house.
Yeah.
Best thing that happened. The moment we started looking for houses, the wife gets pregnant. We start looking for schools, all that starts coming into play. So I'm looking at the wife and I'm like, at this point here, this is home now. This is home. And the lifestyle out here in the South, and I say the South very lightly because people complain, oh, North Carolina isn't the South. It's somewhere there. It's almost there. You got it.
Yeah.
But that's where that Southern hospitality comes into play.
Yeah.
It's a big thing. And in New York, you don't get that. It's, you don't hear a good morning or how you doing or how's your day going or how's the kids. None of that. Out here, your neighbors will start talking to you. Your chickens will start hopping over the fence. You're handing the chickens back, So it's something that honestly, it became more so not a lifestyle for me, but this is somewhere where I wanted my son to be raised.
Sure.
It's you do have the manners, the respect, the lifestyle that a kid can actually enjoy the outdoors. Growing up out there in New York, everything was so fast paced. You didn't really have time to focus on anything. You were either school, work. If you were into sports, you were doing that. You had to deal with stuff outside, family. It was just too much. And
sure.
I finally, when I settled down here, you actually got to feel that, all right, everything just slowed down. One moment I'm in Walmart and I'm fast paced walking and looking around and everybody's just
moseying around.
Yeah. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, this is what I want. This is what I'm going to need. It's easy on the mind and it's great for the kids. So,
yeah. So talk about, I want to get into how, you and Rick, Bass and Through met and stuff like that. But, for the audience, we talk a lot about it here with the OneCast and being a veteran owned company. We talk a lot about supporting our nonprofit companies like Special Operations Bass Anglers, FX3 Inc., so on and so forth, that focus on the veteran side of it. But talk about how has fishing impacted your mental health?
Oh man, now you're getting deep here.
Well, just give us a surface.
No, I love it,
but you can go as deep as you want to.
No, that's great. It's great. I mean, we all know that fishing is one of those things that releases stress. It calms the mind. It puts you at ease. But growing up, my life wasn't easy.
Sure.
I never had a simple life. It was one of those things where it felt more of a survival than growth.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I've learned that I've come to love, honestly, is the simplicity of the fishing. You go out there, even if you don't catch anything, you don't have to catch anything. You get in your kayak, the sun is rising, you're on a beautiful lake, you take off and it's quiet. And it's honestly one of the few times where I think as a man, that mind gets silent. It's not a lot of times where we go about our day. And I know a lot of guys don't like to talk about it. I don't care. It's one of the things that I think a lot of people do need to hear too, is that, sometimes a guy tends to bottle things up. We don't speak. It's not very easy. We don't just go around telling people our feelings, but there's things that can help. And like I said, that fishing aspect of going out there has changed my mindset completely. I'm able to actually take that clutter, that noise, that day-to-day traffic and just silence it.
Yeah.
And focus on one thing at a time. I can be on the water and I come out and it's a brand new feeling. I'm able to think more clear. I'm able to figure out what I got to do. I have things that have been rushing my mind for the whole week. And after I come off the water, it's like, all right, let me focus on this. Let me focus on this then. And then I can focus on this. But before that, everything is just jumbled.
Yeah.
It's just cluttered. It's cluttered.
Yeah.
So it's a great thing. And I've learned too, that even a couple of my buddies, man, never fished in their entire life. You bring them out and it's a whole different ballgame.
100%.
Yeah, it's like they're addicted. And I think I was talking to Ben about this. I told him it's funny because someone who has been fishing their entire life will look at fishing now and be like, if the weekend is right, I'll go out.
Yeah.
But someone who picks it up late tends to enjoy it, and the passion they build from it it's insane.
No matter what the conditions are.
I've started fishing in the summer, and I've gone through the entire season understanding everything I can understand, because it was one of those things. Like I said, not only is it peaceful, not only is it relaxing, but I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I genuinely enjoy it. My mind enjoys it. My body enjoys it. Maybe not getting off the kayak, after a while your body's sore, but it's one of those things. Like I said, it's needed. Some people like to read, some people like to meditate. Just leave me with fishing.
Yeah.
I'll be happy.
I think Rick Clun, if you know Rick Clun, everybody knows Rick Clun in the competitive bass fishing world, one of the greatest of all times. But outside of his stats and everything, his mentality is one of the things that I think makes him like the greatest.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of men grow up with that fight or flight mentality, and that's one of the things I can tell you that in my opinion, you don't get a fight or flight mentality when you're on the water, or at least out in nature, right? Like that growing up in a fast-paced downtown New York or wherever you're at, it's a constant, like, I have to accomplish, I have to fight, I have to flee. It doesn't matter, like, whatever, military, first responders, all these people that do hardcore, like, stressful jobs or grow up in a hardcore stressful environment, dude, like, that goes away when you're out there, right? And that's what, and a lot of men do need to hear this, right? You need to, if you're not going to make yourself vulnerable to anyone else, make yourself vulnerable to nature.
Yeah, dude, listen, one of the biggest things that I got told when I got out the military was to see if I could speak with a therapist. And that is the hardest thing to do.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You mental health this, mental health that, speak with a therapist.
Just go talk to the fish.
Talk to the fish.
That's it. That's it. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's times where you go fishing and you're stressed out and you leave more stressed. It happens, but
it's a different kind of stress.
It's a different kind of stress.
Different kind of stress.
It's different.
And I think also, like, this is my last thing I'll say on it. Like, we're constantly told, like, we have to figure stuff out, right? Like, whether it's in the military, you're a paramedic, it doesn't matter, or you're a lineman, you gotta figure it out, get it done. But you don't have to figure it out on the water. No. Like, if you don't figure it out, you don't catch anything, but you didn't die. Right. Or hopefully you didn't die. Right. So, like, you don't have to. So, like, it's a challenge that you get to choose. You get to choose that challenge. It's not forced upon you like life.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so if you don't accomplish it, you don't catch anything, but you learn something. And then you go out there next time and you apply it. And maybe you do get that small victory. You get that PB, or you catch that 5-fish limit. Hell, the first time I caught a 5-fish limit in the Bassmaster Opens was a couple days ago. And I was like, yes, small victory. I didn't die. Small victory. I caught a 5-fish limit, but it was such a relief. But if I didn't catch a 5-fish limit, I didn't die. Right. It's not.
But you're almost to day 2 of your boat flooding. So.
Yeah. Well, day 2, that was a little bit different story. That was a fight or flight. And I was definitely in a flight mode trying to get back from Canada. But nevertheless, like, I was still really cool, calm, and collected. And I think that's what nature does to men and women that find themselves in situations where they couldn't escape. And they get the opportunity to make themselves vulnerable to the sun rising, to the birds chirping, to the fish biting or not biting. Right.
It makes you vulnerable to not just nature, but people that you're with. If you get out there and you fish with friends, trusted friends with similar life experiences, at some point you're going to have really deep conversations, and it's going to lead to you and Trey Thompson in the middle of White Oak Creek hugging and crying because you just trauma dumped some stuff on each other.
Yeah.
And it's stuff I wouldn't talk about other people. It's stuff I haven't talked to my wife about. Like,
right.
Because we were all raised in that generation where you're a man, shut up, like, suck it up, go to work and take care of, whatever you take care of. Don't worry about that sissy stuff. Right. But it's not like, it weighs on you and you got to get it out. So, and to Javon's point, like, start with nature and fishing, and then you'll make contacts and friends, and you'll realize almost every single one of us that are out there doing it are doing it for the same reason.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because I didn't realize how many veterans are out there actually in the community. It's insane. It's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the bait makers that I started with that were sending me some stuff, man. Veterans from Texas, Louisiana. They all have a story. They all have a great story, and you can see that the passion they put into fishing. A lot of these guys come out and they've been doing either in the military prior. And you can see the passion in their work. That's one of the biggest things that I love. A lot of the people that I've connected with have been veterans, and they all have that same mindset. It's like fishing is the getaway. That's the source.
But the other cool part is there's a lot of non-veterans in this culture. And we can talk about, like, how you met Rick, right? Bassing through, right? Rick's not a veteran. but he has a very, very unique story. And if you guys haven't heard Rick's story, Bassing Through, which Ben talked about with the Chupacabra, rewind a couple years ago, we brought Rick in, and,
been a while.
dude, and it was fun. We need to get him back in here, but it was a great story of him and in Miami and all this other stuff, man. And I don't want to spoil it for you, but so it connects you with people outside the military, which I think is really important because that's the majority of the population.
Right.
So talk about how did you get connected with our Chupacabra?
So honestly, it was weird. He followed me on Instagram. I was posting, and it's one of those things where you start getting the support and you start having random people, hey man, good job. And again, I'm trust was one of those things where it's hard,
sure,
and I don't know this guy from a hole in the wall, but he's there. So we started talking, and he was very passionate. He liked what I did. I liked what he did. And we started sending messages. He had a camera angle he was messing with. You show me, you think this is good? And I'm like, yeah, fix this or do that. And he'll adjust or he'll do something different. And he'll send me some tips and some pointers. And it was one of those things where there was no need to fish together. It was instant connection. It was weird. And then what really, again, even the day at the expo, I had no intentions of linking up with him at all. It was it was actually the first time I shook that man's hand, very first time. And as you can see, as you guys saw, the connection we had at that moment was solid. So it was one of those things where he's a great guy. He's a great guy, and he means good. If he sees that you mean good, he'll share that knowledge with you. He'll share that experience with you. He gives you that. Hey man, if you need anything, let me know. So like I said, it comes down to just, I guess, trusting. It wasn't something that we had to build for years. It was something that just happened. It was instant. Yeah. It was instant.
Yeah, it's a good message for the angling community, right? Like we talk about it all the time, like perception is reality. And we got a lot of people that we know. Obviously, we get hundreds of people that we know that are on social media and stuff, and not all their stuff is good, right? It's not that they're not a good person. It's they choose to make poor decisions, in my opinion, and put some stuff out there on the social media world. And then they wonder why some of the ramifications end up like sponsors dropping them or relationships being degraded and stuff like that. And I can tell you that Rick is one of those people that, he does things for everything is good intentions with Rick, right? And that's what makes it very powerful. And we talk about this all the time to people, like those fishing shows are great opportunities. Like we wouldn't even have met you if you wouldn't have went to the Raleigh Bass and Saltwater Fishing Expo, right? Same thing with iCast, even though that was kind of a cluster we did at one time, but like we still met some really great people that we're friends with today. But everything that you do on social media is a direct reflection of your professionalism or lack thereof, right? And so that is your repertoire for the rest of your life, right? That is your dossier that you're creating online. And so for y'all that are out there and want to get partnerships and sponsorships, like you need to be a steward of the profession, right? A steward of being a content creator, a steward of being an angler, and so on and so forth. And that's what led you to where we're sitting at today.
Right. I mean, like that brings me to another thing I want to add to that. You have to understand how to separate your personal life from your fishing life. Sure. I know it's just, for some people, it's just a hobby, but if you are trying to get to a certain point, there's some things that you may do in your personal life that might not reflect well in that fishing community. Right. So maybe the way you speak, maybe the way you handle yourself, some of the activities you've maybe partaken. So those are things that, a lot of people don't know how to separate that. They're too complacent in where they are, and they feel like they can take that anywhere. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Be yourself, but there's a time and a place for certain things.
100%.
And that's what I'm noticing. A lot of the content creators, that's the reason why they kind of hit that moment where they're stuck, is you're pushing out good stuff, but then on your stories, you're showcasing things that aren't supposed to be showcased, non-fishing related and aspects like that. So, but yeah, if you're trying to get into it, man, just keep your head on straight, focus on fishing. There's a lot to learn when it comes to fishing. I'm by no means no professional. And again, I still consider myself a rookie, but every day is a learning opportunity.
Yep. So what do you do? So what's your fishing? Like, I want to talk about OneCast fishing here in just a second, but like, what's your fishing look like right now? Like, what's your day to day with fishing?
So honestly, like I said, I have a full plate. I have a kid, I have a wife, I work a 9 to 5. So what I like to do is, honestly, if you look in my truck, I carry maybe about 5 rods with me. I have a rod holder, all my tackle, and a lot of people on lunch break, they go to lunch. Not me. I'm looking for a body of water. It could be a pond, it could be a lake, it could be a river. It don't matter. I've hit the Cape Fear River. I've caught nothing but great scenes. You know, you hit some local ponds, you know, some local lakes. Everything is great. So that's what I normally do. I look for that time. And at the end of the day, it's an hour that allows me, going back to that therapy, to reset my mind for the rest of the day.
Sure.
From 8 to 12, my mind is rambling with a whole bunch of work. There needs to be a moment where I can just kind of calm down. And that hour allows me to record the content I need to do, maybe catch a fish, having to catch one, work on some lures, maybe work on some tips, things like that. So that Sunday through Thursday, that hour is my go-to. Once I get home, a lot of the times I'll look at social media a little bit and I'm focused on the family. I'm a very big family man. Then we got the Fridays and the Saturdays, and of course you have to split it with the family. A lot of the times I'm fortunate enough to hit both times. Sometimes I'm fortunate enough to hit once. Sometimes I can't go out. Yeah, you know, but it's one of those things where right now that's my hour break. That's where I'm fishing. That's where I'm doing everything I can. I usually get home. If I'm looking up what I'm going to be working on, I'm planning on content. So fishing is one of those things that it's become now more of a luxury. Mm-hmm. You know, I have obligations. I have content I got to push out. So there may be days where I'm at a beautiful spot and I see them jumping. I see them busting through the water and I can't fish. I got other stuff I got to do. You know, I got content I got to hit. So fishing it's one of those things where right now if I got the time, I'm gonna do it. If I don't, then I gotta record something, you know. Yeah. So my mind, at the end of the day, I can honestly say I think 24/7 my mind is around fishing. It does not stop.
It's like the healthiest crack addiction.
Great. Give me more.
I mean, go look in Pete's garage. Obviously you've seen mine. It's a disaster right now. Ben's boat.
You've seen mine.
Yeah, I mean, it's
my office.
It is. But it's a good addiction, but there also needs to be a healthy balance with it for sure. Right. So, but now you're the video, the director of media. Sorry, director of media for OneCast Fishing. What is what does that mean for you?
That means a lot, honestly. Starting with, I was not anticipating being in this position. But for me, what that's telling me basically is that what I'm doing is working. You know, I'm not out there just trying to make a name, trying to make a brand. I'm trying to build connections, and being a part of OneCast Fishing as the director of media means a lot. Ben has been more than helpful on providing resources to perfect the craft of just content creation, of editing. There's a lot of things I'm working on right now. Me and Ben have been talking about. We have a whole bunch of content we're looking into. Some things we're going to be trying out in the near future, things that we want to see if we can expand with the videoing side of things. But it's a big thing. It's a big opportunity for me. Honestly, I feel like, as crazy as it sounds, it feels like I've made it. But it's a great thing. You know, like I said, I've connected with other companies. It's one of those things where it's happening over Instagram, social media. I'm not there face to face with this person. This is the first interaction I'm having with a company where everything is playing out well. You know, I love the quality of the products that are coming out. People here are amazing. There is a clear, concise understanding. We're all veterans, so it's like I'm in home. It makes sense, you know. It feels great. So, I do think that there is some big progress that's going to be made with being the director of media as far as some ideas we have going on.
I think for the audience, I think it's important. Like, if you guys have been following us for a long time, you've heard the story of OneCast Fishing, where it started. From Ben being active duty and, not putting all your information out there, but you've already told it, like going from being an active Army soldier to doing this as a side hustle to now you got a director of media, you got an extension of OneCast Fishing being the primary sponsor for the OneCast podcast. You got a touring angler that sucks. No, I'm just kidding. No, I actually do a good job, I think, compared to a lot of those anglers. Like, I'll put out videos and I'll go out there and take 10 minutes, right? Because that's all it takes, right? If you're an angler out there and you want to get partnerships, take 10 minutes. Take 10 minutes to do a video. Take 10 minutes to do a reel and invite your sponsor as a collaborator, which thank you for letting me know that earlier this year, and tag their products and, make short form content and stuff like that. Like, that kind of stuff's really, really important. But it's really cool to see how OneCast Fishing has grown exponentially.
And I'll say, as a OneCast Fishing owner here, like, a few years ago, like, those who followed OneCast Fishing for a long time, like, I used to do a lot of content.
Oh yeah, like
all the time. It's how I blew up on social media, or TikTok, Instagram, whatever it was. Not quite on YouTube, but all the other platforms. It took off, and that's because I was doing content all the time. But as the business has grown, launched a snagless, it's grown, plastics and all, that takes a lot of time to make product, package product, fulfill orders, do all the other business admin stuff. And if you notice, for the last 18 months, 2 years, the content has been highly slacking. And so it's one of those things I have been looking forward to be able to find the right fit for somebody who could be the director of media. And, a big shout out to Rick for introducing me to Javon and in January at the Raleigh Expo, because Javon loves bass fishing. More importantly, he loves the content portion of it, creating the content. And that is a big aspect of creating polished stuff to go out. He's a veteran and he's local. So it's like everything just magically kind of came together. But I also think it's a lesson. Like we talk about, hey, if you want to find something in this industry, sometimes you got to kind of decide on what your path is going to be. If you want to be a pro angler, it's going to be very hard to do content all the time, because you got to be learning how to do content and not just right. Then they're not studying maps and you're not fishing as much. So you just kind of have to pick and choose which lane you kind of want to go into and devote yourself to it and decide which one you think you might be the best at, because not everyone's going to be a Bassmaster Elite Pro or a BPT Pro. Not everyone's going to be a huge social media star, but there's a million ways you can do well in this industry and do things for folks and make good money, fishing. And it's just you just got to find that right niche for you. And you got to also spend time on the ground, go to local expos, meet people, talk to people, and you'll find that right connection.
Yeah. And one of the other things that impressed me about you, and it was the same thing with Rick and Ben and Pete, and I've seen this over the years, going to the Bassmaster Classic, going to the Raleigh fishing shows, the Greenville Expo, or whatever it is, right, is you guys didn't walk up and ask for a handout.
No.
Right? You didn't walk up and ask for free baits, and didn't walk up and ask for a
still have Javon still gives me problems. I give him free baits now.
Yeah,
he's
yeah. It's that was another topic that's very important to bring up, is that it's not about the money. Honestly, if you can establish a connection without money, if money gets involved in the near future, it's a lot easier.
It is.
I need, and that's one of the things, if I tell people, I've had people come up to me, hey, can you edit a video for me? Absolutely. How much?
Yeah.
Free.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Well, I'll tell you like this. I'll edit the first one for you for free. If you like it, then it's up to you to pay me. That's complete. I'm never going to be the type of person to come up to you and say, hey, this is how much it is, and this is what it is. I recently made a package sheet pricing different things on different content that I can push out using 4K cameras, drones, and stuff like that, and I have still yet to publicize it. It's one of those things. I'm not looking for the money.
Right.
A lot of it has to establish the connection. If I can establish a solid connection with some people, that's all I need.
Yeah,
that's all I need. A lot of the times that connection is what gets you further than let's put a price on it.
Yep. 100%. Yeah, I think a lot of the young kids in the fishing community need to hear that message, because we've had some really old school anglers in here that had to do it a very different way when they first started out. And it was exactly what you were talking about, developing those value-based relationships, going door to door, going to those expos, talking to people, going out to dinner with them, whatever the case may be. And then all of a sudden, we've had anglers get sponsorships through being on this podcast. And it may not be a full-fledged touring sponsorship, but it might be a presenting sponsorship, which Ben has given before to an angler. And then somebody else that listened to our show gave that angler another, partial sponsorship. And and I say sponsorship, they gave him money, right? Mm-hmm. They gave him money because they believed in what they do. And so you doing this because you like to do it, not because you have to do it, changes the motivation for why you're doing it.
Right. That's another thing. You got to want to do it. You got to love to do it. It's not like it always comes down to that, money is the root to all evil.
Right.
And at the end of the day, like I said, if you're willing to do this without the money, without the paycheck, then that shows the next person that the type of person you are,
Yeah.
I'm not looking for free handouts. I'm not looking for money. I'm not looking for anything. But, at the end of the day, if I can provide something to the company and show that I'm willing to work with a company without the money, and I know, like I said, everything will come into play later.
Let's ask you this question, because we're getting ready to wrap it up here shortly, but you're getting ready on November 6th to fish a tournament, the Special Operations Bass Angler Charity Tournament. November 6th, folks, if you're going to be in the area or not, make that trip down here to North Carolina, Lake Norman, November 6th. It's always the Friday before Veterans Day, annual Mark McCowan charity tournament. We had like 80 something boats last year, probably going to be bigger this year. Fantastic event. Seth is, if he's going to fish, he's got to defend his throne or defend his title because he won it last year, but he might be finding himself in a championship somewhere. So that means he may not be there. Good for us. Nevertheless, we'll cut his fuel lines on his boat. Just kidding. But you're going to be fishing a pretty big bass fishing tournament. Have you ever fished a tournament before?
So I've done some local tournaments out in Randleman Lake, Hickory Lake, stuff like that.
Okay.
And it's usually tournaments that are hosted by.
Did you fish one at Norman, or is that just your buddy over there?
No, I was out there filming content with the company. And that's another thing. Norman is beautiful. But I've done a couple of local tournaments. Nothing where I'm on a big bass boat out there, and we got all the gadgets out there. So it's gonna be. Well, one, I'm gonna feel like a kid in a candy store. I'm already excited. I can't wait for it. But it is something that I feel like I'm gonna really, really have a good time. Especially, I'm out there with Ben.
I ain't gonna promise you no fish.
Nah, dude.
Like here's the deal. I honestly have not really fished since Lake Murray last year.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And of course, I've been having all those boat stuff that will finally, hopefully, be in the water this week. But I got a lot of practice to get to before our tournament in September and the sober tournament. So I am. Fishing is a perishable skill. Like you know stuff. You
not
can
like riding a bike.
You can search things. You kind of generally know, but like time on the water is so important. And when you're off time on the water, because like years ago, when I really got into bass fishing, I fished for like 4 years straight hard, and then I took like a 6 months break. Like guys will take breaks from time and again and stuff, or other stuff is involved. There was Army stuff involved too, but like. It takes time to get back into the swing of things, and to the fishing changes, the condition, or obviously conditions always change, but just like generally, like the fish learn, they get they move, they change. It's a living body of water. Like you have to like get tuned back into all those things, and so I ain't promised you anything because I am way out of practice. But
I know we'll have a good time. I know we'll have a great time, and they say prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
Yeah, well, the worst that you're going to get is cold weather and not bringing your rain gear. Mike Johns.
Don't do that.
Pete and his lovely wife. So Chelsea's fishing with you this year, right, Pete?
As far as I know, yep.
Yeah, so what I have to say about is it's a fantastic time, and I think a lot of us outside of the fishing aspect of it, we look forward to just going there and just continuing our camaraderie. Right, we got a house full of great people. Veterans, first responders, people that have been in the fishing industry for years. Well, I think we're going to have like 12 people in that house, and it's a gigantic house. As long as it got locked in, it's got a hot tub, pool table. So,
nice.
We're going to treat ourselves like royalty.
I'm going to get a little hot tub action.
Even if we don't catch them, but it's Lake Norman. It's 44,000 acres, a giant body of water. Really fun time. Ben has experience here. Don't let him fool you.
One time, I did catch the big fish for Mike. We did win the house, but that was mostly Mike.
And you're really going to enjoy it. So, are you going to do content at the same time you're fishing the tournament?
Well, I tell you, that's the good thing about content. That anything could be content, right? So anything could be content,
yeah.
And that's one of the things that I'm fortunate to say, because I've learned that I only have a short period of time. A lot of the times to film content.
Yeah.
So everything from, whether it's pulling the boat out of the water, putting it in the water, tying some knots, showing some lures, maybe a catch in there. I'm gonna have the GoPro going, extended battery pack to film everything. So it's one
we should do like a massive. You know how Livesey does, like he goes to cuts in with his other boys.
Yeah.
We need to get the GoPros on your two boats.
Yeah.
And run that too.
That would be.
I need Javon's absolute help because I am not savvy. I got a GoPro that's sitting there, and I don't know.
We'll get it. We'll get it worked out.
Square me away.
We can make it happen. That'll be nice too.
You just got to remember to hit record when you catch a fish.
Yeah. Well, hopefully I have a boat for it, because if for those of you listening to this, here I went to the place, or where did I go today? Bass Pro Shops. Yeah. Jeez, the place. I went to the place. Went to check on the new boat today, and unfortunately, it wasn't the layout that I ordered. Right. So there's a possibility that it may take a couple months for the new boat to get here. In that event, you will see Trey fishing out of a multi-species Ranger from Pennsylvania with a kicker motor.
Hey, that's
on
all
it.
right.
Hey,
That's all right.
You're on the water. You're on the water.
It doesn't matter what boat you fish out of, but and I'll tell you this right now, Javon, if we get some content with me and Pete's dad on the boat, watch out.
Hey, you got a button that you can beat cuss words out with, right? That you're gonna
Well,
need
I don't know.
man.
So I gave him all that Lake Murray footage. I put it on the Google Drive that we shared. I think he used a couple for some B-roll.
Yeah.
But that's got all of Pete's dad. And it's got that weird hooks that Pete's dad did. He's like,
I didn't know who that was. I didn't want to ask. I was like, oh, he's, it's probably Ben taking out.
Yeah.
That's your dad.
Yeah, that's Pete's dad.
Okay, yeah, no, that dude.
And let me tell you, there's probably 37 pontoons that have, like a nice flipping jig, mark on them and stuff. Just kidding. He didn't hit that many. But yeah, it's a really fun time. I really think you're going to enjoy all the people there, man. We got good friends from Jersey. We got our buddy Mike. He travels up from Georgia / Florida, wherever he's squatting for the day. And all of us there. It's a really fun time. And then people travel all across the United States to come fish.
Yeah, it's Lake Norman too. Lake Norman is absolutely stunning.
It is. It is a stunning.
It is huge. I feel like we went on there and I barely got to touch Lake Norman, but it has almost everything you're looking for out there. You're looking for stained water, you got it. You're looking for clean water, you got it. You're looking for vegetation, you got it. You got everything. The docks are there. It's stunning. So even if you don't go to watch the fishing, just go for the views.
And the only thing it doesn't have is big fish.
It's got some big fish in it. It's got some big fish. It's got, okay, listen, a 3-pounder is a quality fish, guys. Let's not be ungrateful. The central Piedmont region, it's not fair. It's not like anywhere else. You
ain't catching me 7 or 8 pounds there.
But I will say this, the cool thing is we go up there a couple days before, we practice and stuff. So maybe we can have you bounce around with us and jump on the boat. We can get some footage of skipping docks. We can get some footage of fishing some eelgrass, where I know all of it's at right now. It probably won't be a huge player, but and
no, we're gonna park there
blow-ups.
and throw a rattle trap all day.
I already got bales of crawfish that are getting put under certain docks there. So we're totally it's not even a lie. Pete's dad hit me up today. We're working that process right now. So we're gonna load them docks down. Totally not illegal. No, it'll be a great time, man. Looking forward to having you out there and getting Ben out there. I know you missed last year. You missed the last couple years, didn't you?
Last year was because we had a wedding in Newport, and the year before, that's the one with Mike, I think, or that was that 2 year, 3 years.
I don't know. Whenever Mike didn't bring his wedding gear.
The year before, I think your grandmother or somebody had passed away.
I forget the year before. It might have been 3 years ago that Mike's
3 years ago that Mike.
We get out there. Mike and I are running up the river. He's using his special bait. He caught 4 of the fish. I caught the one on the snag.
Willow, I just thought that special.
Yeah, I didn't say it, but whatever. But we get out there on day one. It's raining. I put my rain suit on. He goes to look for his. Oh, I forgot my rain suit. He's in sweatpants and flip flops.
Yep.
And when it's like 50 degrees and raining, I'm like,
it was cold rain.
Yeah, he was miserable all day.
And you have to look forward to the same exact thing when he shows up. He's wearing some ramen noodle slides that he found at a Bucky's gas station that are chewed up from a dog. And every day at Erie, he forgot his bibs and stuff. I mean, you're on Lake Erie, man. You got like 4 or 5.
Keep them in the boat.
Yeah, like you just can't. So, but it's a fun time, dude. And you'll get to meet our friends from Jersey. And I'm sure you got some Jersey stories, I'm sure. So it'll be a good time, dude. And it's really cool to have you aboard OneCast Fishing, and definitely looking forward to a lot of collaborative opportunities and getting some really cool footage. Because if anybody knows me, I fish as much as I absolutely can. And that's what, and Ben's right. Like, it keeps you sharp on the water, right? Like backlashing and stuff like that. Like, you just don't do it as much.
I guess we're going to be fishing out of my boat for the next 2 months.
Yeah, we're gonna have fish out of Pete's boat. So, but you obviously come out there, get some content with us and stuff like that too. It'll be really good.
Absolutely, I know I got all your guys' numbers, so just shoot me a text when you're going out. And we can make something happen. There's a lot of ideas I have, and the only thing I'm missing is people. So we got it. We got people. We got boats. Yeah, let's make it happen. Let's make it happen.
Ben, what you got?
I'm good.
Pete, what you got, big dog?
No, I'm good. Wish I could have been there. I got home a little late from work today, but appreciate you coming in, Javon, and telling the story, and looking forward to getting out on the water with you, man.
No, absolutely. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, man. Thanks for that message to all the guys out there, especially the men that feel like they need to keep their emotions suppressed. You don't necessarily have to talk to somebody, but look, the outdoors really help you guys out. Check out all those organizations that we talk about, Special Operations Bass Anglers, FX3 Inc., and all the other nonprofits out there that are serving the veteran community and the greater community. Mental health is definitely something that we care about. Let's end suicide. Make sure you guys understand that you can call any of us at any time. Call Mike Johns with FX3 Inc. and help us continue growing a culture of anglers, helping anglers one cast at a time.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, God, it's a toad, son. It's a toad, dude.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day.
The things that we're having